In this video, you will learn how to solve different math problems to prepare for the ASVAB and CFAT exam. Let's solve some practice problems here. In the figure below, lines D and F are parallel and the angle measures are as given. What is the value of X? So let's take a look at the figure given here. It says that lines D, this one, and F are parallel. Then the angle measures are given. So this one is 35 degrees and this one is 120 degrees, and we need to solve for the value of X. Alright, we have 4 lines here that cross, so vertical angles are formed, and we know that vertical angles are the angles opposite to each other, and they are created when 2 lines cross, and vertical angles are always equal. So this angle here, this 35-degree angle, is just equivalent to this because these 2 angles here are vertical angles. So that means this is also 35 degrees. And then we're given this angle here, which is 120 degrees. And the supplement of this angle, the 120-degree angle, has a measure which is 180 degrees, because the sum of the measures of supplementary angles, the 2 supplementary angles, is just equal to 180 degrees. So this angle here is just equal to 180 degrees minus 120 degrees, and that is equal to 60 degrees. And now we can solve for the value of X. Notice that we formed a triangle here, right? And we already have the values of the 2 angles. Now we can solve for the other angle, which is X. And we know that the measure, or the sum of the measures of the angles inside a triangle, is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, X is just equal to 180 degrees minus 35 minus 60 degrees, and that is equal to 85 degrees. So this is our answer here. Alright, let's solve another one. A woman buys 23 pounds of potatoes. She gives 10% of them to a neighbor and 15% of them to her mother. How many pounds does she have left? Now, to solve for the number of pounds, amount of pounds of potatoes that have left, first we need to calculate 10% of the total amount of potatoes that the woman buys. So that would be 10% of 23. So that is 23 times 10%. We convert 10% as a decimal. So this is just 23 times 0.10, and this is just equivalent to 2.3 pounds. And then the other one is 15%, the one she gave to her mother. So that would be 23 times 15%, or 23 times 0.15, which is just equal to 3.45 pounds. And now we can calculate the number of pounds the woman gave away. So that would be 2.3 pounds plus 3.45 pounds, and this is just equal to 5.75 pounds. So this one, the 5.75 here, is the total number of pounds of potatoes the woman gave away. Since we already have the total number of pounds she gave away, we can now calculate the number of pounds she has left. Alright, let's delete this. Now to solve for that, we just have to subtract 5.75 pounds from 23 pounds. So that would be 23 minus 5.75, and this would give us 17.25 pounds. So this is the number of pounds of potatoes that the woman has left. So this is our answer here. Now let's solve another one. Alright, x to the 6th times x to the 5th. So let's recall that when we multiply terms that have the same basis, like this one, we have the same basis here, which is x, then to simplify it, we just have to add the exponents. So in this case, x to the 6th times x to the 5th is just equivalent to x to the power of 6 plus 5. Then 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. Therefore, this one is just equivalent to x to the 11th. So this is our answer here. Which of the following statements about trapezoids is true? So we're given here 4 statements, and then we choose which one is true about trapezoids. A trapezoid will always have a right angle. A trapezoid can have 4 angles which are not equal to one another. At least 2 angles in a trapezoid must equal each other. The perimeter of a trapezoid is equal to a plus b times h. Among this, only this one is true about trapezoids. A trapezoid can have 4 angles which are not equal to one another. Trapezoids do not need to have any angles that are equal to one another is correct because it is possible for a trapezoid to have 4 different angles, and a trapezoid does not always have a right angle. A right trapezoid is a trapezoid that has 1 right angle. If it is a right trapezoid, then it can have 1 right angle, but not all trapezoids have a right angle. And at least 2 angles in a trapezoid must be supplementary, which means that they add up to 180 degrees. However, it is possible for a trapezoid to have more than 2 angles that are equal, and the perimeter of a trapezoid is equal to the sum of the lengths of all 4 sides. And the formula provided here is for the area. This one is for the area of a right trapezoid and not for the perimeter. Alright, let's solve another problem here. A rectangle is cut in half to create 2 squares, each of which has an area of 25. What is the perimeter of the original rectangle? So let's try drawing a rectangle here. Let's say this is our rectangle. Right, and it is divided into half to create 2 squares. And it says here that each square has an area that is equal to 25. Alright, and then we need to solve for the perimeter of the original rectangle. And we know that squares have equal sides. Now we can solve for the sides, and we can finally solve for the perimeter. Alright, and to solve for the perimeter, we use this formula. Perimeter of the rectangle, this is just 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So let's solve for the length and width first. Okay, we're given here the area of the square, and we know that the formula for in solving the area of a square is just s squared. We're given the area, which is 25. We plug in 25 here. S squared, and then we square root both sides. Therefore, S, or the side, is just equal to 5. So this one is 5. Okay, all of the sides are equal to 5. And now our original rectangle would have dimensions that are 10, because 5 plus 5 here, we just add up the sides of 2 squares, and the width is just equal to 5. And now we can solve for the perimeter of the rectangle. So perimeter is just equal to 2 times the length, which is 10, plus 2 times the width, which is 5. So this is just equal to 20 plus 10. Therefore, the perimeter is just equal to 30. So this is our answer here.